So devotees, whilst they were moving forward, they will come to a river. And as they reach that river, Vishwamitra will bow to the river and usher Ram and Lutchman to also bow. As they pay prostrations unto that river, look at them bowing there. What he's saying there? Vishwamitra is saying, Shri Ram, Lutchman, don't you know that this river came here because of your forefathers of the Solar dynasty? How is that? Shri Ram is asking the sage. Shri Ram, in your ancestry there was a great king called Sangre. He was well known, well renowned, well respected, a great ruler himself. But what happened? Sangre had two wives, Keshani and Sumati. But the king was not happy. Why? They had no children. And having no children, he was a worried king about carrying on the lineage of the kingdom. So what happened? The king decided, let us go to the forest and do penance, that we may be blessed to have a son. They reached a beautiful orchard, devotees, and there was the ashram of Bhrigu Muni. They prayed and they prayed and they prayed. They did penance and tapasya, it says here. 100 years, devotees, in penance to sage austerity. Bhrigu became pleased upon them and then asked them, what do you wish? Please ask for it. Hearing this, being granted to them, and happy devotees, what happened? They asked for the boons that they wanted. Keshani or Ram had asked the sage for one son, while Sumati on the other side, she asked that she may have 60,000 sons. So we are looking at 60,001 sons. Bhrigu Muni said to them, if that's your desire, so shall it be, so shall it be. And so they left and they went back home. In due course of time, what happened? Keshani had her son, and that boy was named Asamanjas. Sumati, on the other hand, she produced something what you call a tumba. And to give you an idea, if you cut a cucumber lengthway, you will see inside when you open it the rows of seeds, right? So they were, and they were advised, the king was advised, get 60,000 ghara vessels, fill them with ghee, put each one in a jar, and you will see what will happen. And on advice, they started to grow. And they grew and they became so powerful. They had tourists from all over the world coming to visit them. Kings and so on. The king was very happy. He has 60,001 sons. He don't need an army. He have an army right there. And it so happened, Sangre thought, now fully accomplished, he must perform an Ashwamedh Yagya. This is where a horse is decorated and so on and let loose. And they have to search for the horse and bring it back to complete the yag. So this horse went. And what happened? Indra in the heavens, Vishwamitra is telling Ram and Lutchman, he becomes very fearful that when you begin to elevate yourself along the line of spirituality, he is in fear that Lord Vishnu will take his position and give it to that person. So he became fearful that Indra going to lose his place and Sangre will take that place up there. So you know what he did? He took the horse and tied it in the nether worlds where there was a sub-avatar of Lord Vishnu doing penance there by the name of Kapil Dev Muni. The horse does not return. What to do? The 60,000 sons went looking for the horse. They couldn't find it. When they went down to the nether worlds, they have seen the horse tied near to the sage. And without asking a question, they started to insult the sage. Oh, you crooked sage, you have stolen our horse, and you sit here in penance, so innocent. Look at you, disguised as a sage, but you are an old crook, and they started to abuse him and so on. And in anger, when Kapil Dev Muni opened his eyes, he burned the 60,000 to ashes. He burned them to ashes. So what happened? The horse has not returned. So, Keshani's son Asaban just became very wicked. He will drown the children in the river. He will do all type of wickedness and so on until the citizens complained and he was banished from the kingdom. But he had a son named Ansuman. So Ansuman came and said to his grandfather Sangre, I will go and look for the 60,000 uncles. When he went, it was different. He looked all over. With all humility, he found out. And he met Garur on the way. And Garur told him what had happened. But Garur told him, When you die in such a manner, it's called a Akal Mrit, an untimely death. The soul cannot get a resting place. The only way that could happen is if Ganga comes on earth. Right? Ansuman went to Kapildev, humbled himself, he got the horse, they came back, they completed the yag. And so devotees, Sagar left and went in the forest to do tapasya penance to Lord Brahma to let loose the river Ganges on earth. The holy river Ganges was not found by natural geographic formation. It came from the heavens. And which water is that? When the Lord took the form of a dwarf, Bhaman Bhagavan, he visited King Bali. Vishwamitra is telling Ram and Lutchman, right? He asked Bali for 3 steps of land. And when it was granted, the Lord in the form of a dwarf took a monstrous form. And in one stride he covered the earth. In the second stride he raised his foot and it touched Brahma Lok. And Brahma washed that foot and kept it in his water vessel called Ikabandalu. That is the water that comes on earth as the Ganges river that washed the feet of the Lord. Sagar died, right? Ansuman ruled. When Ansuman got old, he gave all the kingdom to his son, Raja Dilip. Raja Dilip ruled until he became old. Then he gave the kingdom to his son, Bhagirath. And he went to do penance. They continued the penance, lineage after lineage. Bhagirath got old. He gave his son, Kakusta, right, the kingdom to rule, and Bhagirath left to do penance. Bhagirath stood up on one foot with his hands outstretched like this, praying to Lord Brahma. For how long? And Brahma responded to him, I will send the river Ganga on earth. But you need somebody powerful to keep it, or else it'll bypass earth and go to the nether worlds. And the only person to do that is Lord Shiva. He said, go and pray to Lord Shiva and beg him. So Bhagirath prayed to Lord Shiva for a long time. Lord Shiva was pleased and then said to him, I will keep Ganga. And so he coiled his hair into the jata. And when he was ready, Brahma let loose 1 drop of water, which split it into 3 droplets. One remained in the heavens called the river Mandakini. One came on earth as the river Ganga or Ganges, and one went to the netherworlds called the river Prabhavati. Ganga told Bhagirath, mount your chariot, and as you travel, I will follow you. And as Bhagirath drove the chariot, the water left the head of Lord Shiva and started to follow Bhagirath. Where Bhagirath stayed, it formed a basin. Where he crossed the mountain, it cut a tunnel. Right? And this is how the Ganges River is in India. He passed the river where the 60,000 uncles were, burnt to ashes, and liberated them. He passed through Haridwar, where you go to India and bathe in the Ganges. Rishikesh, devotees, all these places and so on, making Prayagraj in Allahabad in India. And it floated to a distance of 1,500 miles to the Bay of Bengal in India where it meets the sea. The river Ganges did not form by natural geographic formation. It came from the heavens. That's why it's so holy. And as the river flowed, sages began to set up ashrams along the bank, devotees, and making this place so holy. So this is here, Vishwamitra is telling Shri Ram and Lutchman, this is the river Ganga that your great ancestors caused to come on earth. So be reminded, it flows a distance of 1,500 miles from the north coming down to the Bay of Bengal. It was not formed by natural geographic formation. It came from the heavens. It is the water that washed the foot of Lord Vishnu himself.